Jenna, can we start with your sharing your name, your specialty, and your state of residence?
Sure. My name is Jenna. I'm a reproductive endocrinologist in Florida.
Okay. And what led you to enter coaching?
I was feeling overwhelmed at work, and a big part of that was trying to decide if I was going to stay in my current position or if I wanted to look for something different due to some changes in my organization.
What was leading to the overwhelm?
I felt like my charts and my inboxes were rarely done when I was leaving. I was, seeing them pile up through the day. I was finding it very hard to leave work at work. And so I felt like it was taking away from my family as well. I was not present for them. And that was just something that, the two things combined, that sort of overwhelmed feeling at work and that feeling like I wasn't being there for my family. Those two things combined really are what drove me to look for a solution that could get me back on stable ground.
Okay. And how did your one-on-one coach help you?
I worked with Tiffany, and she was absolutely fantastic. Um, she really helped me get clarity around what I was looking for, and then my personality traits that really drove a lot of my behaviors, really kind of helped me understand why I do some of the things that I do, and helped me to, working with those personality traits, create new systems for myself that allowed me to feel like I was on stable ground at work. I was getting my work done at work and able to leave at the end of the day with kind of everything tucked, which then actually freed up my mind to be able to spend time with my family and really feel like I was there for them and I was paying attention to what was going on with them instead of ruminating about what was supposed to be going on at work.
And what about the courses? You mentioned that. How have they been helpful to you?
The course on, using, sort of maximizing things with the EMR and how to get your charts done was fantastic. One example I can give you is that as I went along through the course, I kind of started the habit of anytime I thought to myself, God, I wish I had a template for this, I would stop what I was doing unless I was face to face with a patient and I would quick make a template. And it wasn't perfect. And that was okay because I started thinking of these as a work in progress. And so 2 days later, if I was like, I wish I had written this a different way, I'd stop what I was doing and pop back in and spend the 30 seconds to fix it. And what I found is as I would go through the weeks and the months, I was accumulating more and more of these helpful templates, which then made me so much more efficient when I was doing my charting. And I was finding that I was getting through my inboxes to the point that instead of, 50 things at the end of the day, I was kind of going through during the day, and each time it was 5 items, which feels so much more doable than 50 things at the end of the day. And so it was much easier to motivate to do it. And then when I was leaving the office, it was already done. Patients
Mm,
were tucked, and I felt good about what I'd accomplished that day.
fantastic. Wonderful. So I hear that things are very different now. Anything else you'd like to add there?
Well, part of the thing that surprised me was, in looking back, I feel like I've spent so much more time with my kids this past summer, and I actually haven't.
Hmm.
From a time perspective, I'm actually spending the same amount of time with them, but I'm so much more there for it that it feels like I've spent twice as much time with my family this summer as what I normally do. And that's just been really wonderful.
Oh, I can
Yeah.
only imagine how wonderful that is.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell somebody who doesn't really know the value of coaching or perhaps is on the fence about coaching?
I think that particularly when we're talking about working with physicians, because we have so many of the same issues, right? So many of us are struggling with loving what we do from a medicine perspective, but not necessarily loving what we do from a business perspective, hating our EMR and feeling a little bit overwhelmed with everything that we're expected to do as more and more things are kind of piled onto our plate. The advantage of doing something like coaching is it really helps you get that clarity around what's important to you and in my case, what personality traits can you use to your advantage to get those things done? And so anyone who's kind of on the fence, I would say do it. It's so worth it. It's, a few months out of your life and you will feel like a whole new person.